I promised a retro Land Cruiser colour, and that's the colour that I now have to look for. The first thing I've got to do is I have to have a sample of it that I can then show the guys at Sinorama and say match that. So I'm here at a car paint mixing centre. They're going to make me up the colour and we'll take it from there. I'm Andrew St Pierre White. Join me as I share my passion for building four-wheel drive trucks and travelling to the remotest parts of the world. These videos are made possible by contributions from Patreons. Join the Patreon family now. Right, basically what I want to do is I'm going to ask you to find a colour for me on your chart.
Yep, what is it? Just
okay, so no, it's not that. Okay. I want to change it to a retro Land Cruiser Cadet Blue.
Do you have any details for the Cadet Blue?
I don't, apart from the fact that it was a standard Land Cruiser colour in the 70s. They made 40 series FJ40 Land Cruisers in that colour.
No paint code for me?
I don't actually. I'm going to need you to help me with that because I looked for a whole lot of paint codes and I got so many different ones. There was a later Cadet Blue and there was an earlier one. It's the earlier one, and if I see it, I'm probably going to be able to recognize it.
Nothing immediately here. Let me go and look.
It's kind of a greyish blue. Can you imagine that? Yeah, it's got a bit of grey in it, and it's medium tone. 1968 to 1971 sounds about right.
Nothing here, but it could be known by an alternative name. T449.
I don't know if it was offered in Australia. I have no idea. Like it, and that's as far as I can go.
Yeah, so reality is, if you want to come around here, that blue. So your year suits, so that was 2449, 68 to 71. Don't go by the screen because it's not calibrated, but that's roughly what the colour should look like. And it's available in 2-pack, direct loss only.
So that now is the reference colour that I will spray onto some material. So I prepared this piece of steel with a primer and I have removed that from the trim. I have masked between the letters. I've used a very fine primer on that, and now I'm ready with the colour.
So you've got a colour for me to approve. Oh, I like that.
Hold it up against the car.
It's that old classic Toyota blue. What do they call it?
Cadet Blue.
It's beautiful. Hey?
Let's try it in the sun.
So you know what?
Yeah.
You could have got the old dusty taupe. What do they call it? Boring beige.
Yeah, boring beige.
You could have got it because you're just going to wrap it.
No, because remember, it only wraps the outside. When you then open the door, you actually see the original.
Beige.
You see and that would clash horribly with the boring beige.
You're actually quite smart. Eh?
That's why I got the blue.
You're quite smart.
Oh, gee, thanks.
Don't do you any favours.
I think I need to give that another Yeah, you can only see
you're
it
in the sun.
You can only see it properly in the shade.
It is cool.
But nice, eh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good choice, lad.
Yeah.
Good choice.
The blue I've chosen was inspired in 2019 when I witnessed the rebuilding of a 40 series by Sneijmers 4x4 in Cape Town, South Africa. I spent quite a bit of time there building a 105 Land Cruiser and looking over my shoulder every few minutes at this absolute beauty. The one that we've been admiring all week is this one here, which is actually ready for delivery. I could do this.
Today is an exciting day, although it's blustery and cold and rainy. Andrew and I are heading to Sinorama to go and organise the wrap for the vehicle. For every car that we've had, and Andrew and I have looked at the colours, one colour has always caught my eye. And I've always said to him, let's go with that. And it's a blue. It's not this midnight blue. And it's fun. You've got to admit, it's fun. You get to choose these amazing colours, and then you watch the work happening, and then when it's done, it's like, oh, just amazing. This butterfly coming out of a chrysalis. You ready, boys?
Yep.
You excited?
Very excited, actually.
Me too. This colour's been long in coming.
Why do you say that?
Well, we've spoken about it so many times.
Really?
Yes. So I'm meeting with Ashton here at Sinorama. Hi Ashton. How are you?
Good, thanks for yourself.
Are you excited?
Yes.
Me too. Very. So, the magic moment. This is the colour that we've chosen.
Okay.
The process begins with finding the closest Pantone colour using our eyes. Because the sample is a pigment, paint, and what will be printed is a combination of red, green and blue inks, colour matching has to be done by eye.
Great.
Doing it with scanners will result in a technically correct colour, but it will look different. To me, it's that one there.
Yeah.
I think that that is the closest tone, or that one, and maybe, as you say, you add a little bit of black, because given that this is a paint, and I don't know how they print these, and the light in here is not ideal for, we can match the two, but they might look quite different in daylight. But I'm thinking that we're working with those four colours,
Yeah.
and if we can narrow it down, that might be too light. But I know with wraps, it always comes out darker than you think it's going to come out. I've learnt that. So we should err light. We should err on the lighter side, if in doubt. Maybe those two. I don't. It's very.
Yeah.
It is hit and miss
Yes.
to start at this point.
Yeah, the beginning stage.
So we've come outside into the natural light to have a look at the colours, and we definitely think it's these two, but with just a little, touch of black or something to darken it, but it's those two colours, and I think it's going to look stunning.
Yeah, I agree.
It is a couple of days later. What Sinorama have done is they have taken our chosen set of Pantones that we looked at on the little flip chart, and they've printed out 3 of them and then added more black to try and find, because we know that's too dark, we think that's too light, to find one in the middle. So they printed that to start with, and some of these are very, very close. Perhaps that one is the closest. Then what they did is they took the closest out of this and printed this lot. So these are now, again, further examples of those blues. And this is the one that they've marked as being the most like it. And I agree with them. But one thing I have learned, and I've mentioned this before I think in the video, is that because this is a mixture of ink, and where this is a paint, they look different. And I also know that when a vehicle is wrapped, it will always look a little darker than you think it's going to look. So I'm going from this point here, and I'm going to go lighter than this point and find one that I think will look not just as close as this as possible, but also what I think will look better. Now, one thing I should add right now, you are looking at this through a machine that collects red, green and blue and creates millions of little dots. Not unlike this here. This is also lots and lots of dots mixed together. The eye sees the mixture of all of those different dots. And the camera is collecting red, green and blue, RGB. That's the color spectrum. This is CMYK, cyan, magenta, yellow and black. They're not the same, but for our purposes right now, let's call them the same, because they're doing a similar thing. They're mixing colors. What you're seeing now on your screen is not the same as what I'm seeing now with my eyes. It's remarkably different, actually. And I cannot demonstrate it because that's the only piece of equipment I can think of that I can. You'd have to be standing here for me to prove that to you. Now you should be able to see the painted surface and the printed surface. Can you see that? It's those two. The other thing is that I have to think about the light. It's a cloudless sky, but it's late afternoon. So I've got a blue canopy creating blue light, but I've got a yellow sunset creating yellow light. So I've got a reasonably good balance. If I now go into a cloudy weather and look at it again, it's going to change. And I'm going to do that because there's rain forecast this weekend. So I'm going to come back here and look in an environment where the outside light will look very different. The camera will automatically adjust for the light because I'm telling it to, because I want to try and show you what I mean. The following day, cloudy weather. This is probably the best light to judge this. And I'm thinking that the closest is this one. And this one, which is exactly what the people at Sinorama judged it to be. Maybe this one. And this one. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut them out and then put them against the car. Top one is too blue. That one there, is that too dark? Is the question. Is it going to appear too dark? I'm going to look at this one and lighter versions of this one. Using an LED light, which is balanced for outdoor 5600 Kelvin. One spot lighter to me is working better. I think that one, actually. I actually think that one. That's the closest. If I put some shadow on it, You see what I'm seeing? Those are pretty close. It's pretty close. And as I said before, it looks very different on the camera. It looks very similar with my eyes. Thank you so much for watching. These videos are made possible by contributions from Patreons. Join our Patreon family now.